It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, and good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Due Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday we started off talking about this woman out in Arkansas who knew good and well she was only supposed to be paid $16.50 for her 12-hour shift. When she got her check, she had been paid $1,650 an hour, totaling to over $19,000 in money. And guess what? She did not turn it in. She did not report it. And when they sent the cops after her, after the detectives, she did answer her phone, and she did say that she would appear. But guess what? She never showed up. Well, unfortunately, a company is not going to let their $20,000 go to one person for one shift. And she was arrested. She was arrested with a $15,000 bond, and now she has to pay the piper. So she doesn't get the money. She'll probably have to do some jail time. And is it worth it? We talked to the Due Time crew. Now, last week, we had a whole different dilemma. And this week, it was pretty much a slam dunk. You knew exactly who that money belonged to. You knew exactly that you knew you were not supposed to be paid. And a lot of people don't understand that when you're hired, you actually sign a contract that says, I understand that I am to be paid X amount of dollars. And so that's where you're left at. Even when you get your annual increases, most times those increases come with a review that you have to sign. And sure enough, you're signing that I'm getting from $12 an hour to $13.50 an hour. So pretty much you are locked into understanding that anything above that pay rate needs to be reported. Now, could you have gotten a bonus? Absolutely. However, the easiest way and the best way to have gotten that done is to do what? It was to phone it in, call HR, go to HR, let them know, or payroll, and let them know, hey, I got a hefty check and I don't want anybody coming after me. And that's what she did not do. And unfortunately, she had to deal with the authorities. So, when you are doing all kinds of shady and shysty things, you always got to look over your shoulder. And integrity is something that God really, really pays attention to. Is something that God really, really needs his people to actually hold to. So, if you're not a believer, do you want to actually deal with the authorities over something that you know better? I mean, come on. Nah, I don't want to see the cops. And I'm going to be honest, these days, nobody wants to see the cops because they are doing all kinds of erroneous things. And if you want to just steer clear of any potential problems, make sure you steer clear of any unlawful doing. So that's how we spend our Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Well, today is Wow Wednesday, everybody. We made it halfway through the week by the grace of God. And our girlfriend Vivian is waiting in the wings for her socially conscious segment. And we're about to get this party started. So go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
Urine looks like this in the morning, your kidneys are failing, and you have weeks to months before permanent damage. Here is what each color means, and when you need to get to a hospital immediately. Watch every second or you'll miss the warning. Don't forget to follow me, so you remember this when you need it. Pale yellow or clear means you are perfectly hydrated. You are good. Dark yellow means you need water now. Your kidneys are concentrating your urine because you are dehydrated. Orange or amber color is a red flag. This means severe dehydration or your liver is dumping bilirubin. Get your liver checked. Pink or red without eating beets means blood in your urine. This is kidney stones, infection, or tumors. Go to a doctor today. Brown like tea or cola means your liver is failing or you have severe muscle breakdown. This is an emergency. Cloudy or milky means you have a urinary tract infection or kidney stone. And foamy like beer that doesn't go away means your kidneys are leaking protein. This is kidney disease progressing. Here is what to do. Take a picture of your urine every morning for a week. If it is consistently dark, orange, red, brown, or foamy, get blood work and a kidney function test immediately. Most people ignore these signs until they are on dialysis.
Hey, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Wow Wednesday, everybody. Oh, well, everybody else was trying to figure out how they getting over this hump day. God has already figured it out for us. He gave us Wow Wednesday. We got our girlfriend Vivian in the wings waiting to give us her socially conscious segment. So let's say good morning to Viv. Good morning, Viv.
Good morning. Happy Wow Wednesday. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you, Viv?
I'm well, thank you. I can't believe you stole my wow story for today.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I'm sure you ain't short of a story. You ain't never running out of that good stuff. So what you got for us today?
All right, today on Socially Conscious, we are starting off with news for our drivers who are viewing today. So, New York at least $115 fine. If caught, they're saying make sure pedestrians are fully crossed from one side of the crosswalk to the other side before you move your car. Although this may seem minor, it could lead to more tickets as they are cracking down on this rule. If you are not following it, again, you could be facing a $115 fine at the minimum. And they're saying this is actually not a new law, but it will be enforced more strictly going forward. So if you're used to inching forward or starting to move while someone is still crossing the street, you could now be facing this fine without even realizing it, because cameras are being placed everywhere in terms of streets. So you could be getting a fine in the mail without you even realizing it. They're saying if you are parked or pulling up on the crosswalk, which blocks the crosswalk from people being able to utilize it properly, you could be facing a fine. If you're one of those people who likes to inch forward in anticipation of the light turning green and that impedes the crosswalk, you could be facing a fine. If you're one of those people who likes to speed up instead of slow down and prepare to stop when the light is yellow, you could be facing a fine. So make sure that you are practicing patience, because they are going to be cracking down on this law. and you could be losing out on a lot more money. Next, we've got our new favorite mayor, Mr. Mamdani, who just announced plans to open the city's first government-run grocery store. Reports say the first location will be in East Harlem, with the goal of making everyday items like eggs, bread, milk, etc. more affordable, especially for working class families. Now, here's what stands out. Anyone and everyone will be able to shop there. There's no sign-ups, no income limit. Planning to change things and make things more affordable is by the government will be paying part of whatever rent is due for these stores. They will be making income apartment sort of thing. They're making sure that rent for these government-owned properties that will turn into grocery stores will not be so high that the owners now have to supplement that by increasing the prices of their products. They're saying that by 2029, he hopes to have at least five government-owned grocery stores spread across the state. They will be accepting things like SNAP and EBT. But of course, not everybody expensive of a project, and it could actually hurt small local stores that are already struggling to keep their doors open. Others question if a few stores can actually make a difference in a city this big and who is already struggling this much. But then you've got people who think this is actually what New York needs. So of course the question is, what say you? And next we have a quick update on the Bronx Week story we told here just last week, I believe it was. They said that Bronx Week for 2026 was canceled due to budgeting issues, but now it has been announced that it is officially back on. Bronx Week 2026 is officially in motion. They say when the people heard the news, community leaders, different organizations, and even the residents of the borough stepped in to contribute the finance that backing that canceling a back action. So shout out to the Bronx stepping up and making this week. But a mom has gone viral after she says she structured activity has a bunch of teenagers and or young adults. And she took to social media pretty much trying to warn other parents of what she considers to be her mistake. She said that they were signed up for everything from dance to sports to musical classes, thinking that it would help them grow and succeed as they grew into young adults. It created unnecessary stress, exhaustion, and honestly, a lot of pressure on birth. She says her children actually started She says they naturally chose their own activities and stuck to them because they actually wanted to be there. So she is warning parents from making the same mistake that she did. And the comment section was lit, as they say. You had some people saying that by taking your children out of organized and structured activities, you are going to be raising a bunch of lazy, good for nothing children. If they're not in structured activities, they would be wasting too much of their time. And then you had some people who agreed with her. So I thought this would make for good conversations because the children, we're always talking about our kids. So there you have it. This has been Vivian with Socially Conscious News, giving you the news that we are following. And remember, if you have any wild stories that you would like to submit, please feel free to direct message me on Facebook. My every Wednesday to find out if your story has been chosen. Thank you, as always, to our loyal viewers, and thank you, Pastor Steph.
Thank you, Vivian. Unfortunately, we heard like half your presentation. You might be sitting in like some sort of a dead zone. So please just walk with me a minute. So the first story we had was about the pedestrians and the drivers in the driving in the crosswalk. The second story was Mayor Mamdani and the government grocery store. The third story was Bronx Week being restored. And the last story, I didn't hear any of the beginning of your story. So I'm just going to ask you to just give me just the beginning of your story. I got Mom went viral on social media, but I didn't get what you said right after that. I apologize. What did you say, please? Oh, are you frozen? Oh,
It's
boy.
okay. She went viral on.
Oh. Mm. Okay, we had a very bad connection with our girlfriend Vivian this morning, so we're gonna try to do the best we can with our stories this morning. I hate to miss Vivian's presentation because she's always got that good stuff for us. Um, we got to go back and say good morning to our loyal viewers. And please make sure if you're in the room, you are saying good morning to me because that's the only way I know that you are in the room. Okay. So let's say good morning. I think the first check-in we got is from our boy Serge. Hey Serge, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got a check-in from our girl Ketty. Hey Ketty girl, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've got a check-in from Terrence. Your Highness, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've got a Day. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've got a check-in from Randy. Hello to you too. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've got, I don't know, I'm just going to call this person Hey Proud. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we've got Disney checking in. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yeah, Randy, we know you're new here because we've never seen that name. So please stick around if you can and enjoy what we've got to talk about this morning. So thank you so much for joining us. And that PSA was on point. It was really good. And we're going to get to our socially conscious segment. Oh, let's say good morning to the ladies in the room. Let's say good morning to our lady Tamika. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wild Wednesday to you. How are you?
Oh, I am well. Thank you. I'm well. I'm getting hit by the sun like big time. Girl, all kind of things are going on this morning. We're going to work through all of these challenges this morning. Thank you so much for jumping on with us as always for our Wow Wednesday segment. And we got our girl Shantice laying up in the cut. Good morning, Shantice.
Good
Welcome back.
morning. Good morning. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, let's get this party started. What are we talking about this morning? Well, for our drivers over here in New York City, as Vivian said, this is definitely not a new rule, and they're talking about the crosswalk, and I'm so glad that they're bringing this back up against. So as a driver, you are being reminded that you are not allowed to be in that crosswalk. So those of you who like to stop at the stop sign for a hot second and then like kind of pull up, and then your people got to walk in the street to get around. The pedestrians have to walk in the street part to get around, is not going to be allowed anymore. For those who don't stop at all until you get into that crosswalk, they're going to be fining you. For those who inch up, and you keep inching up and you keep inching up, and your pedestrians can't really get in that crosswalk, you are going to be fined. If you are caught as the light is changing and you're sitting in that crosswalk and you haven't gotten across that crosswalk or that light, you will be fined. And I believe Vivian said $115. And you may want to definitely get yourself together, because that $115 will be given out a lot more than you think, because as was reported, they are going to be installing all kinds of cameras everywhere. Lady Tamika, our newest driver in the house, what say you about this pedestrian crosswalk issue?
As a pedestrian, I think it is amazing. I think it's crucial. It's important. And the areas that I live in, they're good for just I'm walking and they just barely miss me. And there are many instances, that happens. I am also a runner. I get up in the morning, after the broadcast, and I go running. And I can't tell you how many close misses, there have been. And it's not because I don't know how to cross the street. It's crazy. But then sometimes as a driver, it's like, are you going to take all day to get across the street? But in actuality, when you think about it, and people, as drivers, they're very, very impatient. Just wait till they get to the to the end of the street before you nearly run us over.
You know what? It is definitely, interesting that you're coming from a driver's side as well as a pedestrian side, because I don't think the drivers remember that they are pedestrians as well, Tamika. It's like you forget that you have to cross as well sometimes. I think drivers only remember that they're drivers at the time. Shantice, what say you about this thing as you are driving or walking?
I love that they're highlighting this again. Definitely. Now, when you're driving in the city, like Manhattan, sometimes you got to kind of bulldog your way through the crosswalk, or you'll be sitting at that same point for about 4 weeks. You'll never get to work or home or wherever you got to go. So I don't want to say it doesn't apply in the city, but again, if you're not already a good defensive driver, you can't try to, when they say don't try this at home, you can't try to do that in the city, because you will hit somebody. Because as Lady Tamika pointed out, you do have to, that's definitely one of those areas where you have to remember, you have to think as a pedestrian and a driver and a passenger. You have to look from all three angles. On a regular basis, I hate I really try to be a lot more aware of when I'm driving through a yellow, because I don't want to get caught in the crosswalk, because I'm one of those drivers that's quick to try to back up if I can, because I don't want for anyone who is crossing the street to have to walk around my car. I hate, as a pedestrian, having to walk around your car. The stare down that I get driving. It's only by the grace of God they haven't just like floored the gas pedal and run me over, because the way I look at them, it's like, why am I walking around your vehicle? And 9 times out of 10, it's because you initially was not going to stop. But because you saw me coming, you stopped. Because no one stops at stop signs or anything anymore. So you really have to consider that you are, even if you drive everywhere, you still have to, even if you park in a parking lot, you're still a pedestrian, because that's still a street. Right, so you don't want to park in a parking lot and get out of a car, and now because someone is speeding their way into the parking lot, now they almost or do run you over. So I love that they're highlighting this, and I feel like the only way that it's really going to get under control is if they start giving you some type of financial penalty, like they stated. So kudos to them paying attention to something and paying attention to.
You know, this has really been a rule. This has really been a rule, y'all. This is not new. This has been a rule for the longest. It's been well over 2 decades. As a matter of fact, it probably could have been over 3 decades that they talked about like driving and being in the middle of an intersection or being caught in the middle of a crosswalk. You know, I don't know, Tamika, if you remember, but years ago, we didn't even have crosswalks. You just had the open intersections for you to walk. So since the crosswalks have existed, y'all, this has actually been a rule. They didn't put the crosswalk there for the cars to be in the crosswalk. That was the whole design of the crosswalk, for the pedestrians. So, you know, now that you've been reminded, and as a pedestrian, you know, I don't drive as much as I used to. And, you know, I tell everybody, I only got one speed. I can't run across the street. I cannot run across the street. My fast is your, Tamika, you probably jog quicker than I could ever move, girl. Or run. That ain't happening for me. So, you know, that patience that exists for drivers in that crosswalk. And I too can't stand for you to stop in the middle of the crosswalk, and now I'm walking in the middle of the street because you couldn't wait or you couldn't stop long enough. And as a driver, or as a rider in people's cars, I have told many a driver who I was in the car with, stop inching up into this crosswalk. I think it's rude and I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous. Stop. Listen, people don't understand the visibility when you pull back out of a crosswalk. It allows you to see everything and everybody in the crosswalk. If you are in the crosswalk, you cannot see a small child in a crosswalk if you're already in that crosswalk. So there's some method to this madness of asking you to stay behind the crosswalk. And I can't stand for you stop at the crosswalk and the people start crossing and you start inching up. They're in the middle of the crosswalk. Where are you going? Just sit still for a minute. You know, I'm going to tell you something. You know what my fear is, y'all? My fear is somebody tapping that gas pedal and hitting it a little harder than you thought you were, and you now hit somebody in the middle of that crosswalk. It's worth sitting still an extra 5 minutes so that you can clear this crosswalk as a pedestrian. So I'm glad that they're putting all of these extra cameras. And they're going to be giving out a lot more tickets because I think this has gone, people have gone buck wild. I think the level of patience does not exist any longer. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. It's not just you as a car on the road, it's cars and pedestrians and bikes. So let's drivers, let's get our head on straight. Let's make sure we are patient and we let this crosswalk do its job and serve its purpose. We got to check in. I did not say good morning to the ladies that make sure we are held down each and every day. Pardon me. Shantice is already on with us, but thank you, Anika. Good morning. Thank you so much. We do have a check-in from Miss Grace. Hey, Miss Grace. Good morning. Thank you. You got a beautiful day, Miss Grace. Oh my gosh. It is. See my hand? My hand is all up in the sun. That's what you're going to get when you go outside this morning, God's space. So thank you so much for joining us. All right, ladies. This next story was quite interesting to me as I've heard about it. I heard the intent. I didn't quite know all of the pieces to the story, but now that Vivian is bringing this to our attention, I'm understanding it a little better. So our newest mayor, Mamdani, he wants to start opening up a series of government-owned run grocery stores. So that's government-owned / run grocery stores. And the first store will launch in East Harlem here in the city. And it's going to make things like eggs and bread, milk, and other things more affordable, especially for the middle class family. Now, they say everybody will be able to shop there, you know, just because it's supposed to be a little more affordable for the middle class. It is open to everybody. And the point is, here's some key things. So the government is going to supplement the rent for the renter. So they're not going to own the store per se, but they are going to supplement the rent that's due, you know, for the store and make that rent more affordable for the local owner. Now, the biggest issue is that our local grocery stores, which most of our stuff is like bodegas, but most of them have to increase their products because the rent is increasing. But if they supplement it, then it will lower their cost and they don't have to raise their prices. Now, they're supposed to be altogether 5. I didn't catch how long. That's the part that Vivian kind of went out on. But there's a goal of 5 within the next, let's say, year or so, maybe 2 years. And now she said that the comments will go buck wild because some people believe that it's going to hurt the small grocery stores. Because if you're opening up a grocery store that's going to be supplemented and their rent drops, they're going to go dirt low. And now they're going to get probably all the business, if not most of the business. On the flip side, you have other people who are saying, well, what difference is this going to make in a city this big with 5 separate boroughs? So if you went for 5 stores in the next 2 years and you went an average of 1 store per borough, what difference would this make? So I don't know. Is that Vivian sending over some information to me?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Viv. Thank you. Thanks, Minister Tamika. We have 5 stores by 2029. Okay. Shot. Let's go back a little bit. Teddy is chiming in about our drivers. She said these drivers out in Connecticut, they can't drive. You might as well let the kids drive. They don't know how to stop. Not in Connecticut only, Teddy. Please understand that. Okay, not in Connecticut only. All right. Shantice, you got first dibs on this one.
So you're opening these stores, I guess a different type of version of a bodega, and you're taking care of the rent for whoever you're going to allow to run it. And some people's concern is it's going to take away from if you're talking about New York City, there's like 8 bodegas on each block. Wait, I don't understand how that is going to interfere with what's already going on. You know, it's already so many in one area. Listen, and I remember bringing this up. I don't remember what conversation, what the conversation was about, whatever. But when you're in each borough, depending on whatever borough you're from, you don't just go to any bodega. Okay, so if you live in Brooklyn, if you live in Queens, if you live in the Bronx, if you live in Staten Island, you have your corner store, your bodega that you go to. If you're still traveling within that borough or something, you kind of feel a little weird. I know when I go to, now this may be good for like someone like me, like, okay, so if I travel to a different borough, I don't necessarily just walk up in any corner store. It has to be like some type of bodega / convenient / mini supermarket for me to feel real comfortable. It's just something about like, because each bodega pretty much has its set people that go in there. So it's like, you ain't from this block. You can't just be walking up in this bodega getting no bag of chips like everybody up in here. I don't know. It just feels a little weird. So that may work for people like me when it comes to that. But on a norm, I wouldn't necessarily think, oh, this is going to take business away from Sergio's because, listen, whoever already goes to Sergio is going to go to Sergio. So I don't know. That's.
Oh, is that where you're going?
Yeah, I'm going to
Sergio. I was so lost. I was like, where is she going? She's in the crosswalk.
No, because you're not.
I get it now. I get it now. Right. I do. I get what you're saying now.
Millennials and Gen Zs, you just can't be walking up in just any bodega. So this will be great. I go to another borough and I need a bag of chips or something real quick. I can walk up in there because this is like anybody. The tourists can come up in here. But when it looked like that's just for that 3-block radius, I'm good. I don't go into those bodegas. So this will serve perfect in those areas.
All right, Minister Tamika. Shanti says she's only going to one store. What say you about the benefit of this government store?
I think it's beneficial for those whom it applies to. We're looking at a situation now where it's in Harlem. I live in Brooklyn. I'm certainly not going to Harlem to go get it. But, they did say 5 stores by 2029. You'll see, we'll see where those stores are situated. And I do agree with Shantice on, which store you go to. There are a series of bodegas in my own neighborhood. And I walk past 2 before I get to the one that I really want to go to, because one has glass on the outside. I'm not going to any bodega, any store that has glass on the outside. And I got to stick my hand in there to get what I want.
The window, the 24-hour window. That's yes.
Mine is not just on the window. It's on the store. The entire store is glassed in. And then it's encased in, and then there's the bars.
No.
Yes, the Compton bars. Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh.
Glass. So I'm like, hey, I gotta stick my hand between these 2 little things to make sure.
No.
I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna because there's nothing that you have that I need that you gotta slide through a bar. Even when we had and they were doing that with the glass, I was like, nope, not going to you, not going to you. Oh, you're your normal store. Okay, great. And so for those that it applies to for resources, once you find out that's a good thing, I think, and then that's the other thing we don't think about. A lot of times we have what they call convenience stores, and they are bodegas, and you're not paying for the item. You're paying because it's convenient, because it's near you. So now, as opposed to paying, 25 cents for something, you're paying $1.50 because it's right around the corner. And then we think about the businesses that it can affect, because we know that, that's why they don't put Walmarts in certain areas, because they know that if you put a Walmart here, which is basically known for cheaper prices or less expensive prices, it's going to affect the neighborhood. And so I think that they need to be cautious about that, because as a business person, as someone who actually has been doing stuff in this area, yeah, it can affect what you do. And now, as opposed to you staying at the price that we've known you to stay at, why am I paying $5 for a pair of stockings when I could get, the $1.99 pair? That I think that would make a difference.
Okay. Well, I don't agree with you, ladies. Okay, so maybe I'm not understanding. Maybe y'all are catching and understanding that I'm not. So Vivian made this clear. They are going to open the first government-owned grocery store in Harlem. And they will have 5 throughout the city in 2029. But what does that mean to me? If you live in a borough, let's just take Manhattan, okay? So we know they're not putting a government store in the city. Let's say below 110th Street, east, north, south, or west. What does that mean for anybody who lives, if it's opening up in Harlem? What does that do for the people in Morningside Heights? What does that mean for people in Washington Heights? So what? It's a grocery store. Shartice is terming it bodega because that's like y'all have just described. It's a so what? What is this one store supposed to do?
I agree. That's what I said. It sounds like it'll be one of those like convenient stores. That's how, even with you reiterating it sounds like it'll be kind of like one of those bodega / convenience / grocery stores. That it will be great for. So it'll almost be like one of those stores where you can also go pick up your UPS packages, where it's not as big to be a supermarket, but it's too big to be considered a corner store. And it'll
I
serve
don't care.
But that's what I said.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter, because whether it was that or bodega, when you got 90 on each block anyway, and you're used to growing up around that, what's another store?
Right. Where we live, okay, where the church is, directly across the street is one of those bodegas that you just got finished describing to Minister Tamika, where after a certain time, they have the window. Right. Then at the other corner, there's a grocery store on that corner, right? So that's that square. On our side of the street, there's a church on the corner, and there was at one point, a little medical build office on the corner, right? On our side. But it was closed for a long time. So one day we drive up for church, and it's a grocery store. And I'm saying, why?
Went 2 across the street.
What? You got one exactly across the street, and you got one diagonal. Why? Why am I going to open up and pay rent for a third grocery store in 1 block radius? 1 block. We ain't talking about 2 or 4 blocks, 5 blocks. 1 block on the same block. I could not believe that there was another store opening up. I was like, you got to be a dope, unless you got it's a cover for some other dealings. You know what I'm saying? So I go back to saying, So what? You opening up a government grocery store?
Maybe they're the front.
It's like,
That's what's
why?
going on.
Like you said, what difference is this one store? They're going to be 5 by 2029. That is literally 3 years from now. Is that something that I really need to look forward to? Is it gonna make that much of a difference? And I'm like, I can't wait. Minister Tamika, girl, we about to get this government store open up. Shantice, yo, girl, save your pennies. Because this government store is why? This to me, you talk about waste. And I know somebody might be beating me up because they're saying, well, at least they're helping somebody open one person. So at the end of 2029, 5 people would have had assistance opening up a grocery store in New York City, where, like you both have said, are 150 grocery stores.
But if they really
What
want to, why
a
not give
waste
away food?
of money. What'd you say?
I'm saying if they really want to help, then why not give away a certain amount per month? The convenience stores, the bodegas, or whatever that's already open, why not use that money to give to them to say, okay, so how many people do you see coming here with EBT? How many people do you see coming here? I don't know if they still do WIC checks or whatever, but now you credit them. So your regulars, even if you say, okay, your regulars, you credit them $100 a month. You credit them. You obviously have the money to do that if you get ready to open 5 stores.
And pay part of the rent.
Right. You have the money to go around to each bodega in each borough and say, here's $6,000 for you to credit your regulars every month. Because each bodega has committed people. So that's where the real help would come in.
So what? I'm just like, there's really a debate in the comments. There's really a debate. What are you debating over? Oh, this is what good is it going to make versus what? Yeah, that's really the end result. What good is it going to do? And I agree. If you're going to spend $2,000 a month, then I think that $2,000 could go to something different. Mm-hmm. It could really go to something different. I don't think that this is gonna. I'm sorry, ladies. I just this is stupid to me. This is just dumb, and more dumb to me. Well, Bronx Week is back, y'all. You know, last week we were smashing them for canceling out Bronx Week because they said that financially they could not afford it, that it was there's a hardship on the borough, and they were canceling, and we came up with like 50 ways you could actually still sponsor Bronx Week. We came up with 50 different reasons why you still needed to sponsor Bronx Week. And Minister Tamika was not on with us last week, but you know, this is a 50-year tradition that they had said was going to be canceled this year, and hopefully by next year they would recover, or you know, future years they would recover and would be able to actually have, you know, this Bronx Week all over again. You know, I don't know, but Vivian says they should have been gone to the public before they decided to announce it canceled. Yeah, I agree, Viv. All right, Lady Tamika, Minister Tamika, you got first dibs on this Bronx Week. Should we be excited that Bronx Week is back?
Well, first of all, I live in Brooklyn, so
Well, think about it. Think about Brooklyn Week being canceled
Oh, I'm
after a
just
50-year
joking.
tradition, and then all of a sudden it's like we are Brooklyn Week no more. What do you mean Brooklyn Week is not there anymore?
No, I was only joking because I still have never understood why Brooklyn and the Bronx don't like each other. It's just this thing. And generations of us just don't like each other. Brooklyn, Bronx is same beat, whatever. At any rate, no. But, speaking on my side, I think it's wonderful that they did, come up with a way for Bronx Week to be celebrated. Every borough needs to have that time where we celebrate who we are, what makes us us, and I do believe, I agree with Viv that, why announce it canceled? You could have put out just like you put out that it's canceled, you could have put out information saying, we need resources for
right.
that benefit. But I am, happy despite the fact that it's the Bronx. I am happy that they're able to celebrate their borough.
All righty. Thank you for having a heart for the Bronx, you Brooklynite.
Right.
So, Shantice, you were one who was annoyed last week with the fact that Bronx Week was being canceled, and you thought that they could have done better by the Bronxites. What say you this week?
I am happy to hear that it is back on again, giving them some positivity and something to look forward to. I just pray that if they don't pay for nothing else, that they got their security on lock. If you ain't got no food, if you ain't got no porta potties, just make sure it is on high alert with the manpower for regular police attendants as well as security. And there are some really, really, really amazing security businesses out here. So I'm really praying that they really take that serious. We're just talking about getting a bunch of Bronxites together. Yeah, we doing that. And I was just looking as you were speaking, Pastor Steph. I went on the website that was posted really quick, and I see they have a Bronx Bowl. They have some things that I would like to attend. I'm like, okay, well, I was born there, so I guess I can go and celebrate a little bit. But I'm really, really happy to hear that they took it serious enough to revisit their decision and their resources, and they're able to make this happen for yet another year. Because they do have some really good things. They have the Bronx Walk of Fame and all of that. So they have a lot to look forward to.
Okay. I thought you were going to say something that I was thinking. So several things come through my mind. So, of course, I was one who was upset because I felt like they could have done better. You had all year. You had from 2025 to 2026 to figure this thing out. There's nowhere in the world you're going to tell me you don't have enough money to sponsor this event that has been a 50-year tradition. And number two, I think Vivian, to her point of it should have gone public, before they went public, they should have, kind of put it out there to different entities. I think that was their goal. I think their goal was to put it out there so that it would kind of force, people to step up, opposed to you saying, hey, we need the support of the community. If you would like this to go on, that should be something that automatically goes out from year to year. So I think maybe that was their ploy to try to get people to jump up and do something, including the residents. So if we make you think it's canceled, then maybe you'll come up off your dollar and make it happen. What I thought you were going to say was, I hope y'all don't go there and now there's a bunch of crime. That's what I thought you were going to say. Bronx is the borough with the most crime.
Yeah.
And, we talked last week about, for those who do toe the line, this Bronx Week festival, would really boost, their their emotional and mental state because they've gone through so much. But I hope y'all don't get out there now
That's what I
and
say.
now
If they
start cutting up.
yes.
Forget about the security. Forget about the security. Because they could have possibly canceled this thing. They shouldn't even need security. If you understand what I'm trying to say. Yes, you need security because that's just the nature of the beast. But y'all should be so well behaved that y'all should make these people think y'all ain't never got to bring security out there because you're so happy that they have quote unquote restored this festival. So that's my thought. I hope y'all don't get out there and now there's a bunch of crime and all kinds of nonsense. And now these people regret, even having this thing after 50 years. Because despite the crime rate in the Bronx, they still have been having the festival. So don't ruin it. Don't ruin it for yourselves. Don't trash this opportunity. I don't honestly think now in a week, y'all all of a sudden no, they weren't gonna cancel it. Nah, I don't believe them. I believe that was a ploy to just try to get everybody stimulated, and that they wouldn't have to put out as much money if everybody else put out the money. That's just my thought. That's just my crazy thought. So thank you, Vivian, for sending in clarification about our wild story of the week. So it's a woman went viral on social media after posting a video saying she regrets putting her kids in so many structured activities when they were younger. So she now has several older teens, and she has basically warned parents not to make the same mistakes as she did, saying to give the kids more free time. And there were quite a bit of comments in the comment section that basically said, if you give kids free time, you're basically raising a bunch of good for nothing, lazy children. So that's the debate, whether we have structured activities and that would help your children, or to kind of let them choose, because I did hear Vivian say that part. Let them choose their own activities, and then, they would enjoy them more and do more. So, Shantice, what's your thought on structured versus kind of let them, give them options, but don't mandate that they're in anything?
Definitely mandate they're in something. While you're mandating, show them the palette, show them their options according to what you see they're good at already. So if I know that you don't like to run, I'm not going to have track as one of the options. This has everything to do with paying attention to your child. So if you're talking about an adolescent where, they're still really coming into what they like, their habits, and you kind of lay a few different things out to them, that's one thing. If you're talking about your preteen, teenager, by then you already know what they're good at, if they're pushed a little bit, what they may like, what they want to do, but they just don't want the discipline or anything. So you still show them options, but you kind of streamline the options. But there should definitely be a mandated something that you do, because as we see, free time means this all the time. This is free time. Mm-hmm. Free time is not picking up a book. Free time is not, let me go talk to mommy and daddy. Free time is not, let me go bother my big brother or big sister and get on their nerves and get beat up because I'm in their room reading their diary. That's not free time. Free time is this. And now you'll know what they doing, what they watching, who they talking to, what they listening to on this. That's free time. So it should definitely be mandated. But now you as a parent need to take the time to sit with them and present those options. Maybe have them in a few different things. You may not have to have them test a few different things out, because if you're paying attention enough and if you're collaborating with the Lord, He's going to tell you what to put your kids in. And then, everyone can run off into the sunset. But it definitely can't be this, let them choose. Because this is what they're going to choose. This now becomes on the list of extracurricular activity, Roblox. and whatever else they play on these devices.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Vivian, for sending in, a clarification. I not hear, maybe she said it, but is there a reason why she's regretting putting them in the structured activities? Vivian didn't put that here. I don't know if she said it, but it's not saying it here. It's just saying that she regrets putting them in so many structured activities. Is it because she thinks that lessened their options and autonomy? I don't know. Minister Tamika, what do you think? Which side are you falling on?
Structured, and the reason why I say that is free time, too much free time. We have a lot of adults that don't know how to function structured. They're just all out, all sorts, and it's because they didn't have the structure to begin with. They were willy-nilly as a child, giving them too much free time. If you just let children be and not give them the structure, you find them out there doing TikTok all day. These dances that look like they having convulsions. Like I was at someone's house and they let their child watch Bluey. And Bluey, I think it can be very, very rude. That little child, that little thing, I think it's a dog, but like the children run the house, and I actually saw behavior from the child that the child is running the house, and you just let the child do whatever, just let them go in there because now, it's quiet, but you have no idea what they're doing, and you don't see the signs because you let them go and do whatever it is that they want. But when you have structure, you can look, you can view, you're vigilant on what behavior is happening, their tics, their antics, the things that they follow, because people don't realize that children, are copiers, so what they see, they exhibit in their behavior. And so if you don't give them any structure, that's exactly what you get.
Okay. Thanks, Viv. She said, the mom said, it created unnecessary stress, exhaustion, and honesty. And honestly, a lot of pressure on both her and her children. All right, so I'll speak to this piece.
Like here go.
Okay, so clearly you didn't have a plan. Clearly you didn't have a plan. So I have 3 girls. All right. And one of my benefits are they're not stair-step kids. But there is a benefit to stair-step kids because everybody's together and everybody kind of move together. One of the downsides to my thing was you had Shantice, who came first. She was an artsy girl. 5 years later comes Shawnice. She's a bookworm, so she ain't need to be out and, doing all of that. She loved reading books and stuff in the house. And then 8 years later, you had Tamasia, who was the artsy girl. And she was in everything. So Shantice, I followed around, had activities, for her based on the arts and what she liked to do. Tamasia, by the time Tamasia came along, they had done a lot of implementation of after school programs and a lot of activities. Again, the arts in the after school programs. And what I spent a lot of my time doing with Shantice and Tamasia was constantly going out to their shows and things like that. Even as Shantice got older, she sang with a group, so we were constantly out when they went, to perform and things like that. You control the narrative. I don't understand. I don't get these parents. I just don't. I just don't. I was a single mother and I was not Wonder Woman, but it just when it seemed like back in the day your head was on different. And Tamika, you grew up with, in my era, not too far from me. We got a little age difference, but it ain't that much of a difference. And your parents just had their stuff together. They didn't do a whole bunch of complaining and all stressed out. And it's like, why are you stressed? You're the one who plans everything. You're the one who you lay it out. So like Shati said, who likes what, what everybody is good at. And I just come from a mother who I don't care what I did. My mother was, oh my God, my mother was there till the point where I was an adult. And I mean adult. My mother passed, I was 55. And up until she got sick in 2000, she really got sick. She got sick in 20 is when she had the minor stroke and really she became limited. And up until then, as an adult, I didn't even give an event and she wasn't not only there, but she was working there. There was never anything I was in where she wasn't there. So I come from that. So as the girls were performing and all these things, you kind of went. And I was a working mother, and I was a mother who had my own stuff. But I was at no point stressed. So I don't understand this stress thing. We have these parents now, they call them helicopter parents, and they put their kids in everything, and they don't have a life of their own. They spend their life running the kids around. I'm sorry, we're not doing that. You ain't running me ragged. I don't have you for you to now run me ragged, or I'm so worried about keeping you in everything that I can't breathe. You control, I'm serious, because that's what's happening. You control the narrative. If you yourself had your own life before these children, you integrate them into your life. You now have the children, now you become integrated into their lives. This whole unnecessary stress, exhaustion, and honestly, a lot of pressure on both her and the children. Then what were y'all doing? What were you doing? Were you traveling to Egypt? It helped me understand what was going on. Because whatever you're doing should have been local. And as your children got older, they should have been, a little more independent. And as they got older, shouldn't they be traveling together and things like, I don't know. A lot of complaining from parents these days that we as parents didn't do back in the day. Tamika, was your mama a complaining mama?
Absolutely not. And she made effort. If I was in a play, she made it. And I feel like this lady, she didn't want, if you give your children free time to do whatever you want, you don't have to show up for their games. You don't have to show up.
Right.
Oh, it's too much stress because when I get off of work, I got to go, support,
yep.
Those types. She didn't want to do that. So that's why she's saying unnecessary. Unnecessary? This is your child. What means unnecessary? That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't get it. Not only that, if you look on the flip side of her saying, I like that point about the fact that, hey, if I let them kind of have free time, they do what they want to do. I'm not mandated, like you said. I'm not regimented. But here's what I want to say about this free time. Free time equals Bay Plaza. Remember what happened a month or so ago up in Bay Plaza where they were storming the stores? And free time is over in McDonald's or in the Bronx where they killed the boy. This is what free time is, surfing.
TPs in outside people's homes.
Right. Free time is subway surfing. Free time is hazing and sniffing paint and what you call that stuff? Air cans. This is free time.
Say what you used to always say, Pastor Steph.
Idle time makes for an idle mind.
Idle mind.
Yes, you have you all over the place because now you get involved with everything, and I'm just not understanding this issue with these new parents who are complaining about everything. Every single thing they complain about. We got a check-in from our Pastor KL. Hey, Pastor KL. He's saying, hey, Shantice. He said, hey, Shantice. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, we got a little bit of time left, ladies. Thank you for indulging me on our socially conscious segment. I stumbled across an article that I've kind of had on the back burner, and I thought it would be perfect for today with its ladies only. So there's a list rather of phrases that they say men use when they're not being straightforward with you. And I am so interested in hearing what you ladies think about these phrases that men use when they really mean something else or want to do something else. So one of the first phrases they list is, I'm just going through some stuff. Ooh, Tamika, what could that mean? I'm just going through some stuff.
You don't want to talk about whatever it is that we're having this conversation about. So as opposed to us finishing this conversation and getting it over, oh no, I'm just going through some stuff. So that's supposed to quiet me? Absolutely not. For some female, it may be, oh, okay, he's just going through some stuff. But what it does, it just minimizes it for the moment. Because the way that we females work is, okay, you're going through something. Okay, so today is the day that we have this conversation. Because basically it minimizes it for a moment, but it has to be revisited because in her mind, we're still not resolved. So I'm just going through something for a moment. Okay, so you let it lie for a week. In the back of her mind, she's still, processing. Okay, you're going through something for a moment. All right, so I'm gonna let it go for a week. We revisited it. You can't just keep using that thing because you're gonna have to eventually talk to me. Because otherwise, it's gonna be a lot worse than what you think.
Ooh, baby, Shantice, what do you think when he starts saying, "Listen, I'm just going through some stuff"?
Okay. You ain't got nothing going on. You probably ain't got no job. Listen, we gonna talk about this now, or we can minimize the talk. Because Lady Tamika said a week. I'm supposed to hold on to this for a week, and I don't even know what this. I don't even know what the this is. Somebody told you wrong. We might as well pull this plug right now, sir. We ain't got. And considering that now I have officially entered the middle-aged people group, I ain't got no time to be waiting a week. A moment. Let's look up the definition of a moment. How long is a moment? A moment is not a week. A moment may be, I may need 5 minutes. Or you know what, at least let me finish watching the game. That's already a stretch. Or at least let you finish watching this episode. I've probably watched this episode already, so that's a stretch. Now you're talking about days, and the word says we're not supposed to go to bed angry. So you're helping to set me up for failure? Absolutely not. He ain't going through nothing. Hang on.
Okay. Well, I'm putting relationships on the back burner right now. So there's commitment issues. And that's what he's coming out the gate with. I'm putting relationships on the back burner right now. When do you typically hear this, Shantice?
I put relationships on the back. When you start asking questions like, "Are you employed?"
You know what?
I'm serious. You start hearing stuff like that. I'm so serious. Oh, I'm putting because that means I don't want accountability. I'm putting relationships on the back burner right now means I don't want any. You already asked me too many questions. Okay, I already answered the first question. Now you coming with a follow-up question. I'm putting relationships on the back burner, which means I only want to do the do, and then that's it. Because there's less questions with that type of agreement. That's what that typically means. I don't want accountability. And I understand that in a relationship, I'm going to be held accountable.
Okay. When do you typically hear that phrase, Minister Tamika? You know, I'm putting relationships on the back burner right now.
It's one of two things. Either he's, going from person to person to person, and you're not the only one, or he doesn't really like you per se. You hanging. Oh, usually it comes after this question where do you think that this relationship is going? Now we as females, where do you think that this relationship is going? Oh, I'm putting it on the back burner. We've been together for 6 months. What do you mean you put something on the back burner? Now you sitting there looking like Boo Boo the Fool because you don't give him all, and he looks at you and goes, "What relationships on the back burner?"
Not the Barry White voice.
That's the struggling with the allergies voice.
Pastor KL says, that's good, Shantice. Hit him with the word. Don't go to bed angry. All righty. Here's another phrase that I'm sure you've heard. If not it, something like it. You're going to make someone very happy someday. Lady Tamika, what we talking about? You're going to make someone very happy one day.
Him don't want you. Those are clear signs that he's. We understand. You think that it's going to be us, but I can tell you right now, and I'm trying to tell you straight out, you're going to make somebody real happy. Not me, but somebody. Please heed the sign. If he's telling you that, it's a clear sign. You ain't got to read between the lines. It's right there in black and white. Move on. Please move on.
You're going to make someone very happy someday, Shantice.
Who's going to make me happy? I agree with Mr. Tamika. That's his way of putting you on the back burner. Say, I don't want that. I don't want you to make me happy. I just want what I want, and then you can give all the extra stuff to whomever, and the extra stuff are the questions, the accountability, and all of the adult stuff. But you're going to make someone real happy. Means like, okay, so skid that door, because you're not the one that I want here, which is so tacky.
That usually comes with that dreaded forehead kiss. You're going to make somebody real happy.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Here's one that I'm just waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce.
Or that's the saying? That's what
that's the phrase.
I'm just waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce. You just asked for me. You call on first.
Shantice.
You just asked for it. How you say that like you ain't just say it? So what kind of conversation is supposed to come from that? I'm waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce. I mean, there's never really a right time. You might as well just pull a Band-Aid off and say that this is what you want. But for you to hint around to that is so corny. It's like how you try, as they say in the street, you try and be low with it, but you're not really low. It's like, I don't even know, like, what kind of response would you expect a woman to get, or anybody, the woman to give you after saying that? You just said
Okay. Okay. I think I'm gonna weigh in on this one if I don't hear from Tamika. Lady Tamika, what you got?
He's checked out a long time ago. You know, he's, picking up the kids, buying the groceries, blah, blah, blah. And, but he's holding on for something. There's something that's still keeping y'all connected, whatever that is, whether it's, we're grown folks, whether it's intimacy, or not to the heart, sex, or whether it's something that they do, that one thing that's holding on, and he's literally dangling by a thread. But he's just saying to you, I'm just waiting for the right time. Maybe it's finances, maybe she makes more than him, so he's holding on for that reason. But he's dangling by a thread, and something he's just waiting for the right time, whatever that is. Whether it's the decrease of sex, the decrease of finances, whatever that one string is, when that breaks, he's out.
Okay. I believe this is a response to the last phrase. Pastor KL says, when he says that, he has gotten what he wants and moved on. We got to check in from Shakira. Hey, Shakira, long time no see. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. Good morning to you. All right, so ladies, I'm going to put, not you two ladies, but I'm going to put you ladies kind of like, I'm going here, in other words. Let me put it like that. Why are we having this conversation? Why are we even dealing with a man who's married? We should really be at that point in our life right now. That's where we should be right now. We should find value in ourselves greater than dealing with a man who is married.
Oh, I thought you meant that's what he was saying to his wife.
Right. I was looking at it that way as well.
Oh, so he's saying that to the side chick?
Well, that's the way I took it. I didn't take it where, why would you say to your wife, I'm just waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce?
Have you been hearing
Why
these
would you
men
say
out
that
here?
to your wife?
Have you been hearing these men out here? That's boring.
Well, maybe that's my disconnect, because I ain't never heard of a man saying to his wife, I'm just wait. What kind of, I ain't never heard that before, y'all. Y'all didn't met some men I ain't never met. I'm just waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce to the wife. No, this is to the side chick, y'all.
No, then my answer's different.
Yeah, so is mine.
All right, so let's start all over again. Because I just don't know where y'all got that from. So who went first? Shanti's. He says, I'm just waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce.
Bruh. You ain't just, so you put a pacifier in her mouth. If I say this to you, because they don't just say that to the side chick once. That's a statement that is said for their whole 3, 4, 5-year entanglement. That's what he's saying to pacify you. And yes, if you are dealing with someone who has to ask someone else for a divorce, then yeah, you hearing that is going to be music to your ears. He's not getting, that's just to hold you over until he gets the next side chick. It ain't ever gonna happen. That's just a pacifier.
She said till he get the next side chick. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, Pastor Kale is drinking from the same Kool-Aid y'all drinking from. Because he starts off by saying, this comes when they become empty nesters and there's no longer a connection. When do you have the conversation with your spouse? I'm waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce. Gosh, I guess I'm so, and I read the caption. Actually, each of these phrases, they have like a caption underneath. So I'm so glad I'm not the one who's like losing my mind, because the first thing they said was, I'll read it to you. They said, these are instances when men who have unhappy marriages are typically speaking to the side piece that they want to hold on to.
You should have led with that one.
Who in the world says to their spouse, I'm just waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce?
You know, people are crazy nowadays, Pastor Steph.
No, y'all are crazy right now. Who said that? Y'all been hanging with Pastor KL too long.
Say late for me, no, because guess what? Not too long after she says, I love you, she going to come across either a post or something.
Well, and I'll let y'all, I promise you, I will, if that's the case, I will. Y'all will be the first ones. Y'all will be the first ones to know about it. And I'm going to say it on the air. I'm not calling you Tamika. I'm not calling Shanice. I'm not calling Pastor KL. I'm going to say it on the air. Guess what, y'all? I done ran into, I promise y'all I will. Pastor KL says he needs to get a new answer too. He said he ain't getting no divorce. All right, Lady Tamika. Go ahead and give your new answer, girl.
That's exactly what I thought. You know, he's just dangling the carrot. You know, every time you get ready to do something, I'm just waiting for this, you know, for the right time. You know, if you planning on leaving, you're gonna leave. This situation of you got your cake and you eating it too. And unfortunately, the side piece doesn't realize that you just cake, you know, and when he's not hungry, when he's, you know, or when he's angry with the wife, he's eating cake over here. When he's tired with the girlfriend, he's eating cake over there. And I've seen relationships that are so crazy, you know, that he can leave for weeks on end from the wife, stay with the girlfriend. Then when he's tired with the girlfriend, she done made him mad, he goes back to the wife. And
oh yeah, they definitely play that game.
Crazy. You just cake.
Yeah, they definitely play that game. Running back and forth. All right, hold on. We got a comment.
And then what gets me is women are arguing over the man. Have you lost your mind?
Okay, so somebody is saying, yes, they can say that to their spouse if there are children. Where y'all coming from? I have ever. People don't talk like that when they're in a relationship with their spouse. What movies are y'all watching? Oh my gosh. Y'all even got y'all even got the viewers drinking y'all Kool-Aid.
Wait. Look what Pastor KL put. Look what Pastor KL put.
Yeah, he starts off by saying, I'm signing off. I will not take this abuse for free. He says, ask Apostle Ernie, what else do you do with it?
First she was a minister, then an evangelist. Now she's an apostle.
You know what?
Oh my goodness.
You ask Pastor Jeff, he would tell you that.
Yes. Because he didn't either minister to him, they related to him,
or somebody didn't said it to him before.
Yes.
You know what, Lady Tamika, I'm going for Pastor Jeff. As soon as I hang up from y'all, I'm calling him and I'm asking him. I'm gonna give him that phrase.
I'm gonna remind you. Did you ask Pastor Jeff?
I'm calling him right as soon as we finish, and I'm asking if you have children. Let's go with the last comment. They say that when they have children, you're looking at you're listen to me. You're going to, if you're talking divorce with your spouse, you're not saying I'm waiting for the right time to ask, or you will say I'm waiting for the right time to divorce. You see the difference? That's what you say to your spouse, because that has been said. Listen, I'm just waiting for the right, especially let's go back to the children thing. You're absolutely right. People have said, yeah, well, just waiting for the right time for us to divorce. But not waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce.
You know, so Harlem Night.
What Harlem Night?
When he called and one of the kids picked up and he said, "Put mommy on the phone." And said, "Hey, this is so. I ain't never come back home again." Listen, crazier things have been said.
Like I said, I think the phrases are getting kind of a little twisted. Definitely in a marriage, they will say, "I'm waiting for the right time to divorce."
Right.
Yeah,
I have.
they are
Yeah.
definitely saying that because, like it was said, like Pastor KL mentioned the empty nesters. The other viewer said, when there are children involved. Oh yeah, that's very common. Listen, don't talk to me. I'm just waiting for the right time to get up out this marriage. I'm just waiting for the right time to get up out this situation. I'm just waiting for the right time for us to divorce, but not waiting for the right time to ask
Okay.
for a divorce.
I got
So I think that's where we're kind of crossing over, where we're getting a little, we're gelling the two. All right, here's a weird one. We got a couple of minutes. Here's a weird one. You're prettier without makeup. When he says that, what does that mean to you, Lady Tamika?
I think he's being honest. You know, a lot of times we look at things from our perspective. I've seen a female say, "How do you like this dress? I think it blah blah blah." Wait a minute, you didn't even give a breath for him to answer. I've also seen, a woman that for some reason on social media, she's got her hair done, she's got her makeup, she's got her outfit, and she asks for opinions. And then when the men give their actual opinion, I think you should not wear a wig. I think you should, you've got too much makeup. She's not listening because she already felt like, oh, I look my best. And now you say, I think you look better without makeup. She's losing it because when he told you his honest opinion, sometimes we do things that we think look good.
Right,
I've seen women with these eyeliners that go all the way over here. And
what is that? Look
well,
like
the
a witch.
eyelashes that go like this, and you could, and you think you look good, but he's actually giving you his heart, his opinion, and telling I think you look better without makeup at all.
Okay. Shantice, what when he says that, what's your thought?
Oh, I agree. It can be because he honestly feels like you look better without makeup, and there are some women who they're not content with just a soft beat, or if they want to go full out, it's because they're actually getting all dolled up with the dress and everything. It's like, I'm going to the corner store, but yet I'm looking like I'm about to be on someone's runway. And then you have men who say that because they want to confine you to them. So I don't want you out looking good, and now you're pulling in other men, even if you don't want to, but other men are now looking at you and they're attracted to you. I don't want you to have that kind of attention. So I'd sooner say to you, "Oh, you look better without makeup," or "You don't have to do all that dressing up. You don't have to do," to keep you as modest and plain and basic as possible, because in his mind, it could be, well, not too many men are going to be looking at you.
Okay, yeah, I do agree with both of you. It could actually, based on who he is, he could be complimenting you, because a lot of men will tell you, you're beautiful without all that stuff on. And like Lady Tamika said, hey, you feel all dolled and glamored up is the way to go. And the man that you're with is admiring just you, just as you are, opposed to, like you said, Shanti, some of the dominant men, hey, if I could keep you kind of low key, ain't nobody else looking at you. That could be his angle. Pastor KL says that's better than saying, "I only like you with makeup," or a certain wig. He's attracted to someone else, or "You look like a clown with makeup." And I've heard some men say that to women. You look like a straight clown, or she looked like a straight clown. So it's all about, men and their taste a lot of times. I have found a lot of men have said about their women, they would prefer them without all of that makeup and stuff on, or very modest, maybe, a little, eyeliner, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that men have really talked about. Lady Tamika, you did it. Oh, men talk about them eyelashes
Yeah.
in a minute. In a minute. They're like, yo, what is with that? I can't even see her eyeballs for the eyelashes. And I know, when we do the interviews and things like that, and Tamaja's doing all of our makeup, it's just it's weird for me because I can't put my glasses on because I'm blinking into the lens of the glasses because the eyelashes are there, and it's like, okay, I can't wait till this is over. I'm so over this thing. I'm already flipping my eyes. But men, one of the first things men will talk about are those eyelashes. The next thing I find that men will talk about are the wigs and the weaves. Yep. That's number two. That they talk about the eyelashes a lot quicker than them weaves and them wigs, but that's coming. It's like, what do you need all of this wig and weave and long hair down to your butt? Passive KL says, I personally don't like the unbelievable. There is a horse in a stable freezing. See, I told you, most times when you get a man who really doesn't like, like he thinks his woman is overdoing it, is definitely with the eyelash, or his daughter eyelashes and the weave or the wig. That's the first thing they're going for. So, ladies, you may want to keep it a little modest, for the man, your husband, and and take that into consideration. All right, ladies, as always, it's been real. Thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation, and we pray you have a blessed day.
Have a blessed one, everybody.
Thank you. You too. Woo. I tell you, I don't know about y'all, but these conversations, man, they stimulate so much thought. Really. A lot. Like my brain is like all over the place. And these last, let's say, maybe few months, I haven't been conversing with people at the rate that I have in the past, especially when I wasn't a pastor. I had a whole different type of conversation, but since, once you become a pastor, there's just this incessant talking, if it's not counseling, like a couple, you're definitely getting phone calls from people. And you always hear me say, I've had a younger congregation. And I got to tell you, the stuff that comes up, I appreciate that age group that I have. And since I've started, since God gave me the ministry, because you really get to see what's out there. And it wasn't until I think Tamaja was really the one who kind of introduced me to like the verbiage of the street, because she would come with these terms, these cliches, and the three of us would just look at her like, what are you talking about? And the comical thing was when her sisters would look at her like that. Now, it's one thing for me to look at her like that because I'm a lot more older than her than I am with her sisters. And it's one thing for me not to understand what you're talking about, but it's another thing. And they would be like, the faces, I'd be dying. But it enabled me, having a younger group, it enabled me to really see how they were thinking, how this world really thinks, what kind of keeps them stimulated, suppressed, unhappy, what would breed anxiety in them. I tell you, the conversations have been amazing. And I have 3 very vocal girls. They are nothing like my nephew. You have to cipher anything out of him. Though these 3 girls, you ain't got to say, but, and it's all spilling out. You know, I think the middle one speaks the least. But the oldest and the youngest, they had no problem just speaking. And again, it allowed me to really hear and get a close up of what this world is really looking like, how different the millennials and the Gen Zs are to us, and the X's and the baby boomers, my mother's area. And I deem it a blessing because it allowed me to become a lot more versatile, than I could have ever been, because I just wouldn't have known what I know. And that's how I'm able to say to you so much, because I actually listen a lot to what they're saying. And even when they are not talking that directly to me, I'm listening. If I'm in the room, I always tell them, if I'm in the room, I'm not missing much because I'm listening, and I'm not ear hustling. But I'm listening for what are the concerns. What's stressing you. Like the mother that Vivian talked about this morning. She's stressed. And years ago we just did, like I said, we didn't get stressed like that. You just rolled with the punches and you just did what you had to do. It was no, this gonna stress me out and that's gonna stress me out, and this is too much, and that. No, you just went with the punches and rolled with the punches, and you just did what you had to do, and you just hope for the best. And for those of us who went to church, then you kind of trusted God, so it's a real eye opener when I hear things, and when I hear these phrases that men use. Generally when I do things like that, I don't weigh in, and when I think of I'm going through some stuff, I've been able to introduce to the young ladies in the congregation a different way of listening to their man. And I'm going through some stuff. Like Shanti said, they ain't going through nothing. For them, they're going through some stuff. And don't misunderstand me. Sometimes it's just plain old garbage. That's just the brush off. That's just the get out, to get you away from me. I'm going through some stuff when I don't want to confront things, like Shanti said, and Lady Tamika said, being held accountable. But I got to tell you, sitting down and speaking to just the men have allowed me access into their psyche. And I told you this story before of having like a prayer breakfast with just the men. And the ladies were upstairs. And as they were talking downstairs, I didn't agree with a lot of stuff they said, but I understood a lot of stuff they said. And I remember going upstairs, and my mother was up there with them. And my mother said, Stephanie, girl, you needed to be upstairs with listening to them. They were, when I tell you, they were in an uproar. I remember asking them, first thing I asked, questions. I said, do y'all really talk to your man? Do you really ask certain questions? And number 3, are you really listening? Oh my goodness, if I could tell you, if they had some pitchforks and machetes and guns, it would have been death to Stephanie. They were not trying to hear anything. They were like, we talk, yeah, we talk, and blah, 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 blah. And then that's, yeah, they telling you one thing, but they tell us another thing. And I had, when I spoke to them, I had asked them, what do you tell them? You know, and they would tell me, and I believed every bit of it. And when I got upstairs, yeah, they repeated some of the same stuff that they had said downstairs. And one of the things I advised them was, y'all are not listening. See, here's what happens with us as women. We want the truth. We want the men to tell the truth. But we don't set the stage for them to be truthful. We don't set the stage for their level of honesty. When you ask them to tell the truth, you've got to really be ready to handle the truth. So you know that phrase, you can't handle the truth. Yo, that's real. And again, just because I may not like your response, your answer, doesn't mean that I don't need to adjust. So, are you cheating? Are you cheating? Are you cheating? And you want him to tell you yes, because you've already gotten the evidence that he's been cheating. So you know, a lot of times we ask questions where we already know the answers to. And they say yes, and then all hell breaks loose. Now, have you actually asked subsequent questions, but in a manner where they can talk? Because if you're like, well, why are you cheating? We know that there are men who really have no reason to cheat. It's about greed. It's about control. It's because they really have not settled in. Even married men, a lot of times they have not settled in to being married emotionally, mentally. Let me tell you, it really their physical being is with you, but that psyche and that responsibility, it's not there. And what happens is, while we're dating, we missing this. We're missing this. We're missing that. You know, we talked here a couple times, and one time recently about, you know, what are the things that indicate he's not going to be a good husband. And some of them things that was sitting out there, 99% of those things were sitting out there before you got married. But what did you do? You got married anyway. And now he's doing exactly what he indicated he would do before you got married. And now you're in this level of uproar. And you're in this level of uproar because of what? Because you missed the mark, and now you are relying on him to do what he never really indicated he was going to do, and now your world is crushed. And don't misunderstand me. This comes with a lot of maturity. I've learned a lot over the years. I've learned a lot about expectation. I've learned a lot about seeing the truth and handling the truth. You know, a lot of us say we want to be in these relationships. A lot of us get married for better or for worse. And as soon as the worst comes, we out. We are not trying to hear it. We don't want to be involved anymore. We want to disconnect. We leave it. It can be everything. And you know, and like I said, I'm going to stop right there with the list. I'm going through some stuff because Shantice clearly said that, yeah, you know, he ain't going through nothing. And I don't agree. I don't agree. Men step into a lot of things where they want to do it. They want to be married, but they're not ready for marriage. And they've indicated to you that they ain't ready for marriage. And guess what? It comes out after you're married. And, when they say I'm going through some stuff, what I try to get women to understand as I close, men deal with a lot in these streets. A man has to fight fights that we women we don't fight. We don't have to deal with certain things that men have to deal with. We don't keep in mind a lot of times that these men are not raised by men. And the man that he sees is not the best example. They have been raised by men who come from the old school. You're not supposed to cry. All you do is work to make sure that your family is supported. And in doing so, they become negligent in the amount of time that they spend, as well as the love that they show. We as women put a lot of pressure on our men because we want the world. Pastor KL says something. He says something a few times on Fridays. He says, if your man can't keep you the way your father kept you, then you shouldn't have him. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't. Because see, now you're setting a standard that God may not have. Woo, pay attention. You are setting a standard that God has not necessarily set for her. Now, don't misunderstand me, because I've raised girls, and I've tried to make sure that they carried a standard in men that they accepted into their lives. So I'm not saying that there should not be a standard, but we did a segment here on His Due Time about, are your standards too high? And what we, at the end, what we had to come to the conclusion of is we have to let God set the standards. See, I'm not my sister. I'm not Shantice. I'm not Tamika. And they're not Stephanie. So what God has for me may not be the same person that God has for Tamika. And if I now set the standard of all the riches and gold that my dad gave me is all the standard that my husband is supposed to keep me with, that may not be what God wanted me to have. Because now, that was as a little girl. That was as adolescence and a teen. Now she's an adult. She's a woman with children. So how in the world is he going to necessarily keep up that standard when they have 5 kids that she wanted? Pay attention. I'm not saying 5 kids that he wanted her to have. She wanted 5 children. So he walked that journey with her. But now, what does he have to do to give her the life that her dad gave her, but still be able to maintain that family, support that family? And now they got 3 girls out of the 5. So now dad is now supposed to be the husband, father that wife had, and be that great dad to the 3. No, y'all better check this stuff here. And Pastor Kale, I hope you still listening. I'm sure you and I gonna talk about that thing. But be careful of the standards. And that's what I mean when I say talking to the men downstairs and talking to the ladies upstairs. Some of them weren't raised by dads. Some of them weren't. Can I be honest? If I think about it, majority of them weren't. And the couple that did, their dads weren't great dads. Their dads weren't good dads. And guess what? I don't know why those dads weren't great dads. Were they not great dads because they didn't have a dad to set the example? were they not great dads because their dads were decent dads, but they decided to be their own man and they did? You understand? So that it's just too much to consider than to just put this regulation out there that if he can't keep you the way your dad kept you, then you leave him alone. That's just a little too much. It needs to be some level of balance. It needs to be some understanding as to she needs to go to God, and she needs to allow God to prepare her for whoever he's going to send her, because the Bible tells us he who finds a wife. So she's supposed to be in an ever getting ready posture, always growing and becoming versatile, becoming open-minded, becoming welcoming, because she doesn't know who she's going to get. I have seen women make a whole lot more money than the man, and they have a fantastic relationship. So if she was supposed to keep, make sure that man kept her the way dad kept her, then what would have been of that marriage? And I've seen marriages where the woman had to really bring him up, and they had a great marriage. And I'm talking about marriage 50, 60 years was a really good marriage. 30, 40 years, really good marriage. But she had to put out a lot more to make that marriage a really good one. You ain't putting out a whole lot when your mentality says, oh, you're gonna have to keep me the way my dad kept me. Then what's she doing? That's not their dynamic in that marriage. No, we have to really be careful of, what of women, ladies, how we listen to our man. Some of the stuff they say is straight junk. Some of the stuff, the phrases were straight junk. There was no accountability. They didn't want to be involved. They wanted out. This, I'm waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce. Yo, you ain't got no business even having this conversation. Find more worth in who you are than to be somebody's side piece. So he ain't got to tell you, I'm waiting for the right time, and you ain't got that expectation in him. Well, he was supposed to be ending his marriage. Don't even get involved. Don't get involved until he becomes detached. And if there are little strings that keep him attached to that marriage, whether it's the children, whether it's community property, whether it's still strings of his heart that's connected to her, regardless of what it is, you ain't involved with him. You wait. If that's who God wanted you to be with, everybody ain't gonna come to you fresh. They ain't never been in no relationship. They ain't never been married. Some of us are gonna have to get men who have been married before. So make sure he's detached completely before you even begin that relationship with him. Find your self-worth and let him know, I'll wait. You come talk to me. We ain't talking while you married, because that's how we get to, I'm waiting for the right time to ask for a divorce. No, leave him alone. Don't even do the friend thing. Just leave him alone, because these things graduate into an emotional connection that you cannot separate from. You got a million other people you can become friends with, you can get involved with as far as, interaction. You ain't got to get involved with him. Leave him alone. Hi and bye. That's it. And I know, that is not, yes, it's real. It can be done. And this is some stuff we're going to have to do in life that's going to be real, real, real difficult. But make sure you do it for your own salvation, for your own sanity, for your own peace of mind, for your own comfortability, for less anxiety in your life. So there's a lot of stuff that comes out of these conversations. And this is hopefully one that you can take away from this conversation. Listen to your man, because you need to be able to determine whether this is junk or whether this is valid, or if it's a little bit of both. God will definitely give you the discernment. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew, the ladies, for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping to keep that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to just develop that relationship with Christ and give him your life right now. Please do not miss the opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares, where is Therapeutic Thursday. Until then, I love you.